So I'm going to elaborate on this a little bit farther, and we're going to go to...
Magnolia Network is here.
Go get 'em.
With brand new episodes of Fixer Upper Welcome Home.
Ooh, it's gonna be a doozy.
Magnolia Table.
This is
There's a good one I like from Stanford. It really does. And this is good because this is the M2 variable off of the right-hand rule of teachers in classrooms. Here we go. Leonard, I like Leonard for this. You'll get a lot of the teacher being
These are just a series of lines.
salty inside here. You got to do it this way because you got to do it this way. And he's right, but only because of the right-hand rule. You students have to know this arbitrarily blindfolded, because later on when you write out the steps, it's in two-phase right off the hop. So this is a stock market on any arbitrary set inside here, because this will help you get a cookie if you pay attention to it. No guarantee that it will. I'm not doing it fucking for you. But inside here, you got to know that that is F in parentheses XY equals, I got some shit on my screen here, bracket or IN. Okay, this is the irrational north on that system, which you will start with every time. You could have started from here, though. You don't know the difference yet. But that is the next step. K equals IN X plus T. Or, excuse me, X plus Y. Arbitrarily, I could have said that that was X minus Y. That's not important. You will do it this way. Now, I'll give him, he says that a bunch inside here, and that's usually where you hear it from the students. It's like, you have to do it this way. You have to do it this way. And where N1 half fails is there's nothing out here to help them gauge it onto. It's just arbitrarily floating around in the universe, and hopefully they go home later on and F plus X, F XY gets them in there. So let's call that management training. Let's call that ground guide techniques. Let's call that all those things, because that's what it is. The reason he won't let you do that here is because it's too much at this board. I can do a house, Mario Maker hitbox inside here that says it triggered you inside here because you don't understand a way to apply this universally. Not only is it that thing, but it's in a multi-matrix of right now that statement I just made, and this next statement, and anything while I'm trying to catch up to the causal speed of light. Can't work. I would have to design this first, give you homework assignments, which I'm not looking at right here. I'm not saying, well, here's multiple choices of what the output of this has to be, because then it's just arbitrarily start to this, end with this, unless he's going to make this part somewhere in here, which is very confusing. Even inside here for, well, Professor Leonard. At MIT, they do the same thing. Stanford, talking about general relativity, they might draw an elevator out there, and that builds your brain to catch that elevator, but you don't understand the higher levels, how to hit the buttons to go up or down from here. I'm dealing with somebody that understands general relativity, I got to bring them down. I got somebody who doesn't understand general relativity, I got to bring them up, but they're both a zenith. Z and Z prime. Okay, anywhere's where that applies. Anywhere's where that applies. I need teachers inside here that then can say, I'm expecting the students to have a certain output. I need it to be in this form of the F's and X in the way that they generally work for this. And that's actually sensible. If you know fusion, if you know hydrogen and the neutrino and stuff like that, study this stuff over. Take these people's, I can't guarantee it's correct. This is arbitrarily as much a psychology class as anybody else. Can you follow orders? Look how many steps and processes are inside here.
Scott,
how many steps and processes do you think are really in here? I'm expecting you in a 90-day training course, 1 page a day to output field theory. You could do this overnight, Van Ash manuscript. This thing right here, being a notebook, you should be absolutely terrified. From Hemingway, the Bible, the Quran, AR 15-0-1, and the patent design of blow-up tanks taking Normandy. It is heavy.
What's it going to give you? It's going to give you what now?
zeros and ones.
One
Bits and bytes.
If K is 1, you got one sheet hyperboloid. Yes. What if K is 0?
I need the teachers. I'm not going to disagree with early phase. They got to have at least some standard models to work with, right? Got to have some symbols to move around and rearrange. But they need a fixed form, and then I'm going to go F equals paycheck. That is a correct answer. How did you get there? X plus Y. I got in and I did work. That is equal to IN. What is the value of that work? So I've basically just hit the speed of light tearing down the track, because I'm not going to actually physically walk this process. I was in there, burn a rock, go up, go down, well, spray off the rock, have it go through the saw, because that's what happens. But I just need you to generally program it to your farm. Here, most of you don't work if this is college, right? You guys, you don't know. This is a job. This is the same way if I'm asking the rock without asking the rock. It's going to have an output of a value. It's going to say, the work I did to it is pretty fixed, just like you guys as student are pretty fixed to say, as an average over the whole, this block wasn't as good as the rest of them, but it's within the averages of X. It's in the averages of X. So the price on the output still plays the same thing. It's heavy, man. We're marketing the value. And anywhere as I would lose that, I would still say this is how you rationalize it. Now, hopefully, you'd still learn math out of that. You'd still learn a marketing skill. You would still learn a psychology trick out of this. And I'm not trying to do it to bend or break the damn system. I'm just trying to do it to rationalize the quantum operation of the next order without losing the bid on this one, because it's the best of the output and I only had one time frame to do it anyways. And I'm working in operation. A lot of guys do that. And you're never going to know that unless I give you this commitment here and the heart rate monitor and everything else when we're in a conversation or on the phone. That's F X plus Y inside of there. And like I said, it's going to go all over the road. So I need your homework assignments, at least in my class, to say arbitrarily X. I'm going to give you a design. You have to know the symbols in this form and try to augment them to real symbols, and then I'm going to grade them. There's two more dimensions inside of there. It's X and Y by X, Y, Z, T, right? And inside of there, X, Y, Z, T, X, Y, Z, T. Essentially, there's a particle right there, and it's in high probability given which angles you're looking at it from. Here, two-dimensional. But at any rate, you're looking at that three-dimensional object like it's 2D, and I have to tell from this output what's going on the thorium molten salt nuclear reactor. What do you mean? Well, we can't see in there with our modern technology, but Jupiter has outputs on its rings to determine its geology. Heavy shit. Just like the stone mill. Chips on the edges means somebody's missing processes inside of there, so therefore the geology isn't to tone. Well, how could you do that? Well, you're right. It's an 8-footer. You're trained to do 8-footers today, but that was a 3-foot rock. You got to figure out that pattern yard. You got to figure out your operations and drag stuff in, pull stuff out, and do things on those. And that's maybe why I'll give you a C or an F based on the output of the result. You need to bump this up a little bit more. Comprehensively, field theory sets the curve. It's a straight line, G, nu, mu. But it's also an operator of sets, because you never know really where that's going to go. And I might need to say, you need to bump this up a little bit, because in this classroom is a limited set, or as all the classrooms together, or just individually, I could say there's a matrix of, I have 5 classes a day that run, well, it's probably more like 2 classes a day, maybe 1. Those students would be the only students you have, so we set the Senate based on that design right there. And what I know is that one of you is going to come out super comprehensive. You care about what you do, you like the attitude of it, and you want somebody to say, here's something I have inputted into it in their form, and what I have got out of it is a value of what somebody who understands this material does. But a lot of times they don't understand it on the other side. I can't say he does, I can't say he doesn't. I'm just looking at it from -1, 0, 1. M1, M2, Mn on the map here says he probably should at least look at your homework assignment and say, I like how comprehensive this is. But it doesn't follow the arbitrary nature of what I designed today to be this set, because that's the same way in the stone mill, right? Is like, I needed the output to be in this form, and you gave me a brownie factory in thermodynamics. Like, yeah, I know you love brownies, but this is how you have to correlate that rock into something sweet. And in that way, I'm, it's like I said, Bernoulli was on the map today. It's not just that the fact that why do we need to do it, because there is about 10 billion mathematicians out there that's ready to put you down.
That's what a contour plot actually does.
And you got to do it that way. And then hopefully these things are close enough together to be congruent with each other without the water hammer and Bernoulli's their pipe of A, B, V, or A1, B, A2, V1, V2 without cracking the pipe. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, you're damn right, Bowser.